the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67-66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67-66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67 and 66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just 1 of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67 and 66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just 1 of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the six-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the ninth last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the ninth for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67 and 66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the ninth last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the ninth for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67 and 66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the ninth last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the ninth for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67 and 66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, where Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67 and 66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, where Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67 and 66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67-66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just 1 of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67-66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just 1 of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Yuniesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the ninth for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67-66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. Yet another makeup game in Cleveland. The Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Inesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67-66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the 4-3 road trip, but no one would argue that getting out to an early lead wouldn't be a terrible idea. In the 7 games on the road, the Jays were outscored 10-0 in the first inning, and 4 times they were down 2-0 after 1. It's the Mariners and the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn against Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. in Toronto. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 7 Eastern. After yet another makeup game in Cleveland, the Seattle Mariners continue a 10-game road trip by heading north to Toronto for 3 with the Blue Jays. Jared Washburn tries to end the 6-game slide for the M's as he goes up against Toronto's young right-hander Sean Marcum. First pitch set for 7:07 p.m. from Rogers Center. Inesky Betancourt brought home the tying run in the 9th last night, but Rick White couldn't send the game to extras, walking Kenny Lofton to bring home the game-winning run for Cleveland. The 6-5 loss, coupled with the Yankees' sweep of the Red Sox, dropped the Mariners a game back of New York for the wild card. Lyle Overbay and Matt Stairs each went deep in the 9th for Toronto to tie Oakland at 4, but Jack Hanahan doubled home the game winner in a 5-4 A's win on Wednesday. After a day off yesterday, the Blue Jays returned to action a game over 500 at 67-66, 7 back for the wild card. Seattle needs a quality outing from Jared Washburn tonight. On Sunday, Sammy Sosa took him deep in the first inning and he never recovered, taking the 5-3 loss. He's won just one of his 9 starts since the All-Star break, but does lead the staff with 14 quality outings. Toronto throws Sean Marcum in the opener. Last time out against the Angels, he scattered 8 hits but allowed just 2 early runs in the 9-2 win. He's part of a long line of young Blue Jays pitchers who have made an impact in 2007. There was a familiar face in Seattle's dugout last night in Cleveland, Mike Hargrove. He resigned as manager in July and keeps a home in Northern Ohio. The team may be without another familiar face as Richie Sexson could miss the entire weekend series after coming out in the 5th inning with a tight left hamstring. It's likely Ben Broussard will play 2 games or more at first base in Sexton's absence. The Toronto front office is pleased with the
Blue Jays were poised to make a postseason run, but wilted under the August heat. With September around the corner, the Seattle Mariners are now looking to avoid a similar fate. Just a few weeks ago, they were one of the hottest teams in baseball. Now they're looking to hang on. Losers of 6 in a row, the M's stagger into Toronto. Mariners Jays, next on TSN. The Blue Jays are back home after a long road trip and a beautiful night in downtown Toronto, the last dog day of August before the September stretch run. Inside Rogers Center, underneath the CN Tower, and on high definition tonight, TSN HD. Wild card race continues to heat up. The Yankees are coming and leading the wild card. Seattle a game behind. The Blue Jays not out of it yet, but need to make a serious charge. Hi, baseball fans. Rod Black, Pat Tabler with you. The Seattle Mariners, I would think, Tabby, have to be considered one of the surprise success stories of the season so far. But the ship right now has sprung a couple leaks.
A week ago, this team was 20 games over 500. Really looking forward to a big series against the Angels at home. And the strength of this team has been the pitching, the starting, and the bullpen. But in this 6-game losing streak, look what has happened to this team. The ERA over 6. The starters in the bullpen, both of them have been knocked around. In that big series against the Angels at home, they got swept by Los Angeles.
The Mariners can also hit. And tonight, they're up against a team that has really been able to pitch since the All-Star break, and a lot out of this guy, Sean Marcum.
Well, he has just been sensational as Sean Marcum. He has been able to get all of his pitches over for strikes. Very rarely has he put the ball in the middle of the plate in a really hot streak that he has been going through. Really just one bad start in his last 9. And in that last 9, he has won 7 times with a very good ERA under 4. And the thing with Sean Marcum, when he is on, he's throwing tons and tons of strikes.
Righty tonight against a lefty, and the Blue Jays do hit southpaws very well.
Yeah, very good in the American League. The Blue Jays are hitting .294, and they'll be going up against a veteran in Jared Washburn, who has really pitched better than in this month than his record indicates. 15 earned runs all month and 5 starts. What does he have to show for that? A record of 1-4 going against Sean Marcum the last time he pitched against Seattle. 6 2/3, no hit, no run ball for Marcum. He got a no decision out of that one also.
Jays and Mariners coming your way next from Toronto. Night, last day of August at the Rogers Center. The Blue Jays beginning a series with the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners need to end a 6-game losing streak. And in the dugout, you see Vernon Wells. Reported that Wells has been playing with an injured shoulder for the last few months. Almost all season, as a matter of fact. And Pat Tabler had a chance to catch up with the Gold Glover before the ball game.
I'm not one to make excuses or complaining about anything. Unfortunately, it's gotten out now, but just something we'll look at the end of the year and see where we need to go from there.
Bang into the wall somewhere?
I don't know how it happened, to be honest with you. It's been there, and it's been able to be concealed for a while, but it's nothing as of right now. It's continue to play and continue to go out and try to help this team win and see where we're at coming into September.
Rumors of maybe surgery out there?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so and from what I've seen or heard, the people who have made comments are not doctors either. So we'll see what happens once we get looked at the end of the year.
Affecting you anyway, swinging back?
I don't know. I mean, I continue to do my work and try to do my early work and do my extra work to get ready for a game, and whatever happens after that happens. Whether it's my shoulder or my head or my swing, whatever it is, it hadn't worked yet so far this year. So hopefully we'll have a better September.
Yeah, the numbers this year heading to September for Vernon Wells way off what they were a year ago, and quite possibly that is the main reason, the shoulder that has been banged up.
Well, he wouldn't say that, you know, and I think I respect Vernon Wells for that. He's not going to use an injury as an excuse, but watching him day in and day out like I have this year, it's pretty obvious that the shoulder has robbed him of his power. Just 15 home runs this year when he hit 32 last year, 47 points below his batting average of last year, and it just doesn't look like he has been able to reach that outside pitch, and you really need that to go get that with those arms. Hasn't been able to pound the ball to right center field like he can. So he's a gamer, and he's out there. He's going to finish up this season, and he's going to try and finish it up strong.
So here's the hitting lineup tonight for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Now under manager John McLaren, the former third base coach for the Toronto Blue Jays back in the 80s, taking over, of course, from Mike Hargrove, who walked away from the job. Ichiro, what can you say about this guy? Instant Hall of Famer when he's done. 7 hits shy of another 200-hit season. Jose Vidro, former Expo, in the lineup tonight. Jojima, the catcher, hitting .290, 4 for 6, and a stolen base against Sean Marcum. And the Mariners in serious need of a W here tonight.
Yeah, they really do, but it's up to Sean Marcum to hold him at bay. Last start, he bounced back from his shortest outing of the season on August 20th by beating the Angels for his 11th win in his career versus the Mariners. Marcum's 0-1 with a .270 earned run average in 5 games. That's including 2 starts. One of those starts was this year when he threw 6 2/3 shutout inning out in Seattle, and Blue Jays eventually lost that game 2-1, and he got a no decision.
Look at where Troy Glass is playing against Ichiro, who can slap the ball anywhere. He's pinching in a little bit. One of the great players of all time.
We have been watching him for how many years now, Ichiro? And if I was trying to put together a scouting report of how I would pitch him and how I would play him, I still have no idea. He reminds me a lot of Wade Boggs, and Wade Boggs was the same way. The best thing you could do is just throw the ball right down the middle of the plate and hope that he gets himself out. He has the ability to slap the ball the other way, like you say. He can drop a bunt down if you need to. They were talking the other day with Bill Bavasi, the general manager of the Seattle Mariners. He said he could easily be a guy who could hit 35 home runs a year if he wanted to.
So now 6 hits away from another season of 200 hits, which would be the 7th consecutive season for Ichiro Suzuki.
Here's the scouting report tonight for Sean Marcum. In his last start, he found a way to win. Wasn't his sharpest, 8 hits, 2 runs in 6 innings against those pesky Angels. His secondary stuff for strikes, he's throwing everything, and when he throws them for strikes, he's very good. 12 straight games that he has walked 2 batters or less. So when he's throwing a lot of strikes, he is very good.
Now Jose Vidro Again, the former Expo. Great numbers hitting on Canadian soil through the years as an Expo and also as a visiting ball player when he comes to Toronto.
Just really like Jose Vidro in that number 2 hole. You have a switch hitter, a guy who can handle the bat. He has enough power that if Ichiro is on first base, he can just shoot that ball through the right side, batting left-handed. Another guy, you don't know how you're going to defend him because he can hit the ball from foul line to foul line.
Ichiro, of course, is a threat to go anytime he's on the base. He is the leading bag swiper for the Mariners.
36 of them for Ichiro. He gets a very aggressive lead over there at first base. Now it's hard to run against Sean Marcum because he is so quick to the plate. Doesn't pick that front leg up very high.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Vidro. Jose Guillen is next, then Raul Lavanya, the DH tonight for the Mariners.
In that last start, excuse me, Rod, that we were talking about for Sean Marcum. That came 5 days ago at Los Angeles. Now, he did pick up his 11th win, and I watched that game. He really struggled. 6 innings, he threw 102 pitches and gave up 8 hits. And he was not like the Sean Marcum that we have seen so far in the second half of the season. Lots of strikes, jumping ahead of the hitters very quickly with a strike. He really battled his control the whole time he was in there. But he found a way to win the ball game, and he kept his walks under 2 again.
There goes Ichiro. Didn't matter. Ball 4. 2 on. First 2 batters on for the Mariners. Here's how the Blue Jays line up their D tonight.
Well, after an off day yesterday, the team that we have seen pretty regularly in the second half, Johnson, Wells, and Rios in the outfield. Troy Gloss, John McDonald, Aaron Hill, and Lyle Overbay will form the infield, and Greg Zahn takes his position behind home plate, which he has done this year, the most on the Blue Jays.
Now Jose Guillen, the right fielder. 2 on, nobody out. Blue Jays have had a tough time out of the chute recently.
First inning, they have given up first inning runs, a bunch of them. 13 runs in the first inning over their last 10 games.
See if they can get out of this now. Mariners are a good hitting ball club.
The Mariners have hit so well in the month of August. You know, we were talking about that in the opening. Well, what has happened to this team in the 6-game losing streak? I don't think you can blame it on the hitting. As a team, they have hit .319 in the month of August, which is pretty darn good. In fact, it's the highest, the 5th highest recorded by any team in a month since 1957. Hitting .319 as a team for a whole month should win you a whole lot of ball games.
That's why they got themselves right in the thick of the race in the AL West and in the wild card. Up the middle, could be 2, should be 2. It is 2. Ichiro goes down to third base, 2 away here.
Positioned perfectly was Aaron Hill for that double play grounder off the bat of Jose Guillen, and he can't believe that that ball didn't go up the middle for an RBI single. Looked like he hit it right on the screws, did Guillen, as you see him walk back towards the dugout. But watch where Aaron Hill's positioned. They really pull around, and his momentum is taking him to the bag, and it's an easy double play. 4-3 if you're scoring at home, and the pitcher's best friend comes through with a ground ball for Sean Marcum.
Cleanup hitter Raul Lavanya. What a year he had last year for Seattle. 33 home runs, 123 RBIs. many respects, one of the most valuable players for the Mariners last year.
And another one of those hitters who is very hot and doesn't want to see the month of August end. He has hit 9 home runs this month. That is tied for 3rd in club history. And we all know who has the record for most home runs in a month by the Mariners. He was a pretty good player himself.
Still is a pretty good player. Junior.
Ken Griffey Jr. in 1997 hit 12 round trippers. Lavanya, I guess, has one more day of this game but he's going to have to get off if he's going to tie it.
3-0 pitch now to Ibanez. And he walked him. Corners now for the Mariners, and Adrian Beltre will come to the plate.
2 walks in the first inning in that streak that we talked about for Sean Marcum. 12 consecutive starts where he has issued 2 walks or less is in serious jeopardy. 2 of them already here through the first 4 batters. The last time he walked more than 2, you have to go all the way back to June the 21st versus the Dodgers.
Down the middle this time, Fieldon Colberth is our home plate umpire here tonight. Fouled off the end of the bat, so way ahead now.
Beltre is one of those guys with tremendous bat speed and lots of power. He has the ability to hit it out at any part of the ballpark. Power to right center field. If you make a mistake, he will turn on one.
Tried to bust him up high. No go that time.
Well, the reason for that is Beltre has trouble when he expands the strike zone. And he can be pitched to from right-handers if you can get that breaking ball away. You put fastball in his mind and get him out with breaking balls away.
Ground ball, tough play, all the way, safe, run scores. Sean McDonald almost had another one for the highlight reel. I don't know how he got there, but he almost made the out.
Yeah, you're right. Getting to the ball was the first thing. How he got to that ball, but then his ability to get it off and with something on it, and watch Lyle Overbay at the end really try and cheat and sell it to the first base umpire Marty Foster. Watch him drag that foot, leave just a little bit early, and he can't sell it. It's an infield single and an RBI for Beltre.
So another first inning run against the Blue Jays. 1-0 Seattle. Ben Broussard now. Beltre at first. Ibanez at second.
If you are wondering where Richie Sexson is in this lineup, Ben Broussard is going to get a start. He might miss this whole series. Tweaked a little bit of a hammy yesterday in Cleveland. Did Richie Sexson. And he might not play this whole series.
1 run scores. Another first inning run given up by the Blue Jays. Mariners lead 2 on. 1-0. great numbers against Jared Washburn, Alex Rios, Frank Thomas is the DH, Troy Gloss, Aaron Hill. 9-game hit streak. Hot bat right now. Lyle Overbay, Greg Zahn, and John McDonald.
They will be facing Jared Washburn, the veteran, makes his 27th start of the season. And he looks to get some offensive help from his team. Just 1-5 with an ERA around 5 over his last 9 starts, but he has gotten 3 runs or fewer in support in all but 2 of those outings. It's his 3rd straight quality start on Sunday, allowing 3 runs and 6 hits over 6 innings, but still lost to Texas 5-3.
Blue Jays have had a lot of success against left-handers. Fouled away, predominantly right-handed hitting lineup. The Blue Jays, that might be something they're looking at in the offseason, acquiring another left-handed bat.
Maybe balancing it out just a little bit more. I think that's where Frank Catalanato was so good for this team, that he could really, from the left side, kind of pound the ball from all over, from foul line to foul line. Very good on base percentage. And it just balanced out the team offensively a little bit more.
Broken bat. Unieski Betancourt, the shortstop, kind of fooled him for a second, but he makes the play.
How did the ball end up back with Jared Washburn? Now, you see Betancourt talking with Beltre, the 3rd baseman. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Jared Washburn. He is a contact pitcher. Fastball just about 88 to 90 miles an hour. He's got a pretty good cutter that he will use to these right-handed batters, and he has had trouble with right-handers. Righties hitting .293 versus Washburn this year, one of the higher batting averages for a starting pitcher with over 140 innings this year.
Bree Johnson was the everyday leadoff guy till he got hurt. On base percentage this year, though, .308, average .249. Nowhere near what he was last year or before that injury.
Yeah, .360 last year for an on base percentage, and he battled the back in spring training, really all spring long, and it looked like he shook it the first week or so of the season. But I remember doing a game in Tampa when he hit a big home run. I believe that was off Scott Kazma, and it looked like he was going to be fine, but then we found out that he needed back surgery and spent basically the rest of the season on the DL. Since he has come back, he has done okay, but really not the player that we saw last year.
But just okay. And last year he was more than okay.
Yes. He's a good player. I really like him. And I talk to scouts all the time, and I ask them about Bree Johnson, and the scouts love the way he plays the game. They like how he plays the outfield.
They like the way he hits when he's got it going. Reed is on here.
That was Adam Jones, the left fielder. You see pick up that ball off the bat of Bree Johnson. He will be joined in the outfield by Ichiro, Suzuki, and Guillen. Beltre, Betancourt, Vidro, and Ben Broussard with the start over at first base. Kenzie Jojima, a very good receiver, does the catching tonight, and he will catch Jared Washburn. This is a team, the Seattle Mariners, who are tied with Minnesota for the 2nd fewest errors in the American League with 70. They catch the ball. They don't beat themselves. They throw strikes, and they have a dynamite bullpen. I mean, those are all recipes for winning lots of ball games.
Alex Rios has been hot lately. He can pile up some more numbers into September. Add on to that career high home run tally. 4-game hit streak right now, and multi-hit games in his last 3 in a row.
That's the pitch right there. That's kind of sneaky for Jared Washburn. If you're a right-handed batter, especially a hitter like Alex Rios with those long arms, it's tough to get that ball on the inner half. Washburn's got to stay in there with that cutter. If he misses, batters like Rios can hurt you. But he needs to establish inside to try and get you out with his secondary stuff or his changeup, which is very good, that he'll use a lot to right-handers. But for the most part, it's away. That time he tried to guide it in there.
Frank Thomas is on deck. 1 out. And the 3-2 pitch coming. Hit high in the air, but into the glove of Adam Jones. 2 away now.
That's what I was talking about with Jared Washburn, trying to get that ball in on right-handers, especially people like Rios. Watch how he can't extend his arms. You see how he pulled him in and he lost all his power, and he knows it. Now what Rios has to do is he's got to get that ball. Think about that pitch. React to it a little bit quicker. He'll sting it. Hit it right on the nose and hopefully over the fence.
Frank Thomas watches a curveball miss. And into the second row of seats. Big Hurt riding a season high 9-game hit streak. Numbers have picked up lately. 21 homers on the season, 79 RBIs. Wanted to back away from that pitch, but got a piece of it. Now 1 ball and 2 strikes. Missing outside. Remember in spring training, Tabby, when we chatted with Frank Thomas and said he came to Toronto for one reason. He thought that this team had a chance and has a chance in the future to win it all. 2-2 upstairs.
Well, I think if they would have stayed healthy this year, they're not out of it, okay? But if they had stayed healthy, and the guys that they were really counting on having big years, I mean, I think you always need to have about 3 guys to have career years. Offensively, who has had a career year this year?
Popped up, and Broussard has the ball in his glove. 1 runner left on. 1-0 Seattle after 1. Mariners on a 6-game losing streak. Talk about bad timing award. This is not when you want to go in a slump, especially when you are right in the thick of it.
Well, they lost the last 2 games in Texas to start this losing streak as Kenji Jojima steps in, and I think maybe they were looking forward to that big series against the Angels, the big showdown. Now, the people in Seattle haven't been this fired up for the Mariners in the last 4 years.
Jojima, Bree Johnson over, one hopper. Base hit for the Mariners.
And this 6-game losing streak after they got swept by the Angels and then lost to Cleveland. It's the 4th time this season that the Mariners have had a losing streak of 6 or more games. Hard to believe, isn't it? With their record, which is very good, 73 and 59, but in that 4 times they have lost 6 games or more, and they are really in a very, very tough part of their schedule to finish out the season. Because of that 4-game snow out in Cleveland, they had to make up a game last night in Cleveland. They will finish the season, the last 45 days of the season, they will play 44 games. I mean, that is unheard of. And you don't think that takes its toll on the pitching? We showed you that graphic about the pitchers, how they have struggled in this 6-game losing streak. If that doesn't put some pressure and wear you out, I don't know what does.
Adam Jones with Jojima at first base. That is remarkable when you look at all those other teams that were suffering those long losing streaks. You know, those teams are way out of it. Seattle is still very much in it. Again, a game back of the Yankees beginning tonight, the wild card. There's another base hit. Jojima will stay at second base and will not test that powerful right arm of Alex Rios.
Adam Jones, one of the jewels out of their farm system, hit a home run in yesterday's game and plays very good defense. He already has 2 assists, very strong arm in left field. He can run, and they think that he's going to be a superstar in the American League. That was a good piece of hitting right there, something that we didn't see from him last year when he got called up for a short time. He could have been pitched to, but right there he covered the plate with a single to right field.
Yuniesky Betancourt look down 1-9 tonight. The Mariners hitters. You know, everyone's hitting near 300, including, of course, the guy on deck who's hitting 350.
This is a team that second in the American League in hitting.
John McDonald, scoop, Hill, safe at first.
Ball just was not hit hard enough by Betancourt to turn it. Fielder's choice, 6-4. And the way that Adam Jones can get down to second base, this is frightening for a second baseman. Watch him right on top of Aaron Hill as he breaks up the double play and Betancourt beats it out. You got a guy who can really run. You got to get rid of it. You got to use that bag as a defender, which Hill does. He makes Jones slide over that bag. But a good aggressive slide keeps them out of a double play.
Now the guy you really don't want to see. Ichiro Suzuki, already a base hit tonight. Again, now 6 hits shy of another 200 hit season. And he is joining some elite company.
Wade Boggs had 7 consecutive seasons with 200 hits.
Rios. Here comes the throw, and back to third base goes Jojima, who was thinking about it. What a toss.
Well, Rios does a good job of catching the fly to that ball and staying behind it. So when he gets it, look where his momentum is coming to home. And I think Jojima would have been out. Tailed on him just a little bit. Suzuki does not pick up the sacrifice fly.
Jose Vidro. swinging there. Back to Suzuki for a moment, though. Isn't it amazing? Every time he's at the plate, he kind of reminds me of Pete Rose or Tony Gwynn or Wade Boggs. You automatically think that he's going to have a base hit almost every time he's at the plate.
I mean, it's really a magic wand that he takes up there, that he can just spray the ball. Even if he tops the ball and he keeps it in the infield, chances are he's going to beat it out. What a play by Lyle Overbay. Taking away extra bases off the bat of Ichiro and possibly saving 2 runs. Ball was ripped down the line by Ichiro. The reaction by Overbay keeps it to a 1-run game.
Mariner bullets there. 1-0 into the bottom half of the second inning, and a showdown here between 2 former teammates, Troy Glaus and Jared Washburn.
Jared Washburn was the opening day starter for the Angels back in 2002 when he and Troy Glaus teamed up to win the championship for the Angels.
Glaus hitting .251, 17 home runs, 55 RBIs. 2-0 pitch. Down Main Street for the strike. Down the line. Fair ball. Glaus is taking off for second. He better hurry. Safe. Missed the tag because by all rights he should have been nailed at second. Yeah, the throw was offline ever so slightly from Adam Jones, and John McLaren's going to go out and have some words with Tim McClellan, the crew chief. Well, we're telling you that this outfield can really throw. With Guillen and Ryan and Suzuki in center and Jones in left field, they can really throw. The ball beat them. But Ichiro didn't take that glove and put it in the dirt. If he puts it right in front of the bag, Troy Glaus slides right into it and he's out. But he sees where the throw is. The play is right in front of him where the throw is, and he slides around it. Tim McClellan signals safe. Leadoff double. Ichiro's got to get that ball and just kind of dive to the bag. Aaron Hill now. Also riding a 9-game hit streak. Jammed him. Shallow fly to right field.
made an effort to try to hit the ball the other way. Early in the game, trying to get a run on the board. Ball just beat him because Washburn will throw a lot of fly balls. He's not one of those typical left-handed pitchers where you get a lot of ground balls. He's more of a fly ball pitcher. He likes to pitch up into the zone. Tough to advance a runner with a fly ball from second to third, again with an outfielder who can really throw that ball.
Lyle Overbay now. Overbay, of course, was put on the shelf with a hand wrist injury. Really took a lot of his power away and his timing. Wednesday in Oakland, he broke a long homerless drought.
Yeah, I think the last time he homered was back on May the 28th. Anytime you have anything wrong with your hands and you're trying to hit, it'll just rob you of your power. You have to have strong hands. And he got hit by that John Danks fastball and broke his hand. Same thing goes with Greg Zahn. Greg Zahn broke his hand early this year and really hasn't hit for the power that we have seen him over the last few years. Ever since he got hit on that hand, he got a special glove made by Franklin. There's the pad that he wears on that hand. So if he does get another ball there, it'll give it some kind of padding and resist some of that shock. I guess Jeff Bagwell made that very popular when he played for the Astros and always got hit on his hand.
Troy still at second, 1 away. 2 balls and a strike to Overbay. Nice pitch by Washburn.
Well, if you establish fastball early against lefties, you can pull the string and throw that curveball. And it fooled Lyle Overbay.
Got to go there again. Misses it, loses him. Now 2 on, and Greg Zahn will come up. Blue Jays' biggest problem this season, when they go back and look back on the season that was, everybody thought it would be the pitching that might have been the problem spot, the trouble spot. It hasn't been. It's been the offense.
Yeah, this was going to be the strength of this ball club, that they would slug people. Earlier in the year, they had gotten up to about second or third in the American League in home runs. Now they are down to 8th with 130. No problem in doubles with 290. And you know, you delve into the numbers a little bit farther, and everybody talks about on-base percentage and how important that is, and I agree. Blue Jays team on-base percentage this year, .324, which is 12th in the American League. Something that is very important. Get on base so when you do hit home runs and doubles, you're scoring runs.
Signs coming from Brian Butterfield. Another thing that the Blue Jays, and I don't know how you address it because it's just one of those blights against your record. Zahn over the last 15 games. Look at those numbers. They're going to have to learn how to win on the road next year. They could not do it this year.
Great home record. Almost a night and day type of team from home and away. Had their first winning road trip, this last road trip out to California, since the first week of the season. Now that is hard to believe when you have a Halladay and a Burnett and the way those other young kids have pitched this year.
Hopped up, foul territory. Beltre will make the play. 2 away, and the number 9 hitter John McDonald will step into the batter's box.
Well, speaking of that road trip to Anaheim and Oakland. There's the wins, 4-3 in those 7 games. The earned run average just 3. That's excellent. But the average at 230 and the runs per game is 500 for the road trip.
Johnny Mac now. Still 2 on, 1-0 Mariners here in the bottom half of the second inning. McDonald to the gap. They were playing him shallow. This will go to the wall. Johnny Mac will go for 3. 2 runs will score. He has a triple.
You are absolutely right. They were playing him the other way, and they were playing him very shallow. And I think Jared Washburn does him a favor by throwing him a breaking ball. Speeds up his bat. Watch this one just right over the middle of the plate. Speeds his bat up, and he splits Suzuki and Jones in left field. By the time they run it down, Johnny Mac has his 2nd triple of the season. An easy triple. Stand-up triple. And 2 RBIs, is 26th and 27th of the season.
They were playing him so shallow. Had that not been an Ichiro out there, and it bounced around a little more, that could have been all the way around. Vernon Wells now. 2-1 Blue Jays.
Johnny Mac is saying, hey, show me some respect here. You know?
Burned him. What a season again for John McDonald. You always knew what you were going to get with the defense. It's hard to believe that he even improved even more on his defense this year, because he made absolutely so many highlight reel catches and plays. But his offense has also contributed.
In the amount of time that he played last year, I remember watching him, it seemed like he always made play after play after play. Now we're seeing it almost nightly now, being the starter. Vernon Wells struggling in this situation, 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Doesn't have a chance here as Washburn walks him.
Blue Jays threatening now. Bree Johnson will come to the plate. Washburn get a little talking to here. All started with the Troy Gloss double. Fly out to Aaron Hill, and then Overbay with a walk, and then the triple from John McDonald. You know, you look at John McDonald, and again, all the great defense that he has provided. You have to think that somewhere down the road, if he continues this way, and I'm not, you know, the Gold Glove guys are always those kind of big name guys, should be for the glove, but also they, for whatever reason, they also are all-stars who happen to add a lot of offense and a lot of pop.
Right.
But man, that glove, he may not win the Gold Glove, but it's a Golden Glove. You know what I mean?
If you have the pleasure of watching him day in and day out like we have this year, I posed that to Brian Butterfield this year a couple of weeks ago. Said, who has had a better season defensively than John McDonald? And he said he really likes Orlando Cabrera from the Angels, who's very good. And he said the coaches and managers vote. He gets a vote on who wins the Gold Glove, and I think he would be leaning toward Cabrera. But that guy right there, Johnny Mac, seriously can get a lot of votes from the coaches and the managers around the American League by how many runs he has taken away from the opposition.
And in spectacular fashion most of the time. Runners at the corners with 2 away, and the Blue Jays taking a 2-1 lead here in the second. Bree Johnson singled in the first inning. Again, batting number 2 in the lineup tonight. Washburn, who had no problem in the first inning, really. Seems to be struggling with his command a little bit here.
Couple of walks this inning for Washburn. You're right, he hasn't been able to pinpoint any of his pitches so far.
Right back at him. Look what I got. There's out number 3, but the Blue Jays score twice thanks to Johnny Mac's triple. 2-1 Jays after 2. Saturdays continue tomorrow. Jays Mariners 1 o'clock start. Junior Jays Saturdays passport program. You get 3 stamps. You receive a miniature Greg Zahn bobblehead. 416-341-1234 for tickets. See you down at the Rogers Center. Junior Jays Saturday tomorrow. 2-1 Blue Jays. Top of the 3rd. Jose Guillen up. Big cut there by Guillen, but fouled away.
When Sean Marcum has been on, he has been able to get all his pitches over for strikes, and I think the biggest difference from him this year from last year is his ability to get that changeup over at any time. It has allowed him to pitch deep into ball games. He has posted 15 quality starts in 20 of his starts this year for a 75% ratio, which is 4th in the American League. Now, when he is throwing all those pitches for strikes, he has been able to keep batters off bounds. But his last few starts, he really has struggled getting ahead of hitters, something that we didn't see from the All-Star break on.
Since the All-Star break, Sean Marcum has been sizzling. Pounded into the field turf. Sidearm in the dirt, but Lyle Overmay makes the play.
Well, since that All-Star break, Sean Marcum's numbers have been very good. Only Andy Pettitte with 8 wins has more. Tim Wakefield has come out of nowhere to win 16 games this year. And everybody's pick for the Cy Young, Eric Bedard, has won 6 games since the All-Star break, but Marcum has bettered that.
Raul Lavanya. Yankees have been getting it done with pitching lately. How about their staff flirting with a couple no-hitters recently and sweeping the Red Sox? Yankees trailing Tampa Bay 1-0 early in that ball game tonight. Boston leading Baltimore 1-0. Second inning.
Did you get a chance to see Roger Clemens pitch against Boston?
Yeah, I watched that.
Guy's 45 years old. Okay, I mean, he's not Jamie Moyer or Greg Maddux, you know, or Tom Glavine throwing it up there at 82 miles an hour. He still has some gas.
Hit hard and high. Vernon Wells waves off Alex Rios. Out number 2. Vernon looking skyward. It's that time of night when hard time to pick up the ball.
Yeah, you better keep your eye on that ball, because if you see it, you look up there and you look down to see where you are and then try to pick the ball back up, it's going to be tough. I mean, it looks almost white up there with the cloud cover. I mean, that's what Vernon Wells is looking up. Oh, that matter. All the outfielders are looking up at that.
Adrian Beltre now with a base hit back in the first inning when the Mariners got on the board. Couple games final today. Kansas City beat Minnesota this afternoon 9-4. And Houston deflating the Cubbies 6-1. Chicago acquiring Steve Traxel today for the stretch.
The time of games just went up.
Oh yeah, big time. But they say he will be pitching for them. Need the help. They're in the race there. And of course, this was the official unofficial trade deadline day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, J.P. Ricciardi was on the phone earlier. He said he was busy trying to make a deal. This one is rocked. Bree Johnson watches it go. Home run, Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, we told you that Beltre's got power. He can hit it out of any ballpark, any field. And a breaking ball from Sean Marcum hits the sweet spot of Adrian Beltre's bat. Watch this. Stays back, the hands stay back, and he hits it a mile high. 21st home run of the season for Beltre. And he knows he got that one over the bullpen in left field to tie this game.
Ben Broussard now. Yeah, J.P. Ricciardi had his cell phone out earlier, and he said, you know,
working the lines.
I'm working it, trying to get something done, and haven't heard any reports of any deals done by the Blue Jays. Some teams out there trying to be quick buyers, improve their roster.
Yeah, if you are serious about trying to get into the playoffs, today's the last day that you can acquire a player and still be eligible for the playoffs.
There's strike 3. One pitch Sean Marcum would like to have back, though. The one that was belted by Beltre to tie the game at 2 here at Rogers Center on TSN tonight. 21st home run of the season, ties the ball game in the top of the third. Lefty Jared Washburn now pitching to Alex Rios, who likes those Mariner uniforms.
He has one of the highest career batting average versus the Mariners of active players. Only Joe Mauer, who is hitting over 440 versus the Mariners, has a higher batting average than Alex Rios, 384 coming into this game.
Vladimir Guerrero also hits the Mariners well, third on that list. Guy who's now a Mariner,
Raul Lavanya, when he was with Kansas City, just under 370 at 369. I was talking to some of the Mariners before the game today, and I was asking them about that series with the Angels, and they say, boy, Vladimir Guerrero just kills us. Always comes up with big hits, big home runs. You look at the numbers, and it's no surprise why.
Another walk issued by Washburn tonight. That's number 3 now. Leadoff guy is on. Frank Thomas comes up.
And a guy, Washburn, who is usually around the plate, doesn't walk a whole lot of guys. .161 innings coming into this game, just 50 base on balls. A very tidy 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, but he has been having trouble trying to find the plate here tonight early.
Ball and a strike now to the big hurt. 508 career home runs. Alex Rios leads the Blue Jays in stolen bases, and with 13 on the year. Doesn't have a big lead over there though, as Washburn watches him.
Just stay right there and let your big boys try and crank the ball out of the ballpark.
Just missed it, got way underneath it. Jose Vidro is there for the first out.
Not a bad time really for Vidro to try to exchange the runners there. You got some speed over there at first base. Frank Thomas doesn't run that well. And he hits this one straight up. Home run and an elevator shaft. Now if Vidro's thinking, he lets that ball drop, gets the force out at second base, and Frank Thomas is now the runner at first. It's called exchanging the runners.
I think I'd like the odds a little bit better that way. Troy Glaus doubled in his last at bat. Now 1 away here. Drilled. Forget it. It's gone. Home run. The former teammate of Jared Washburn made him watch it fly.
275th career home run by Troy Glaus, and it was a bullet. Hanging slider from Jared Washburn, and he tattoos at the left field on a line. That's gotta hurt.
Poor guy's going, man, I had that. Sure, he's probably still got it. Aaron Hill now, 4-2 game. Some balls here tonight have been stung, haven't they? This one is playable for Broussard for the second out.
John McLaren, the manager for Seattle, when talking about this game, said what we need is Jared Washburn to go 8 innings and for me to turn the ball over to J.J. Putz. His bullpen has been tattooed over the last week or so. Lots of innings and lots of runs. Their starters have not been going very deep into the ball games during this 6-game losing streak. And I think they really can't wait until tomorrow when rosters can really be expanded and they can get a couple more arms up here. So this is such an important game for them to try and give that bullpen a little bit of a rest. Washburn needs a big outing.
Yeah, there will be a lot more faces here tomorrow for both teams. Lyle Overbay walked, scored a run in the second. Blue Jays ahead by 2 again. 1-1 pitch. Quite a night for Troy Gloss already. Double and a home run. 2 runs scored. Lyle Overbay golfing one to right field. It's gone. Home run.
Turn on that power. They had 4 solo home runs the last game. And if you want to see a perfect swing on a breaking ball, watch him just tuck that shoulder and wait for the break. Hold and boom. Overbay with another home run. That's 2 games in a row.
Well, if John McLaren wants Jared Washburn to go 8, he's going to have to settle down in a hurry. That's right, Lyle Overbay. Home runs in consecutive games after going 51 games and 182 at bats without.
I think he's going to have to start placing that slider a little bit better than where he has been. Use that fastball a little bit more. He has been hurt on that breaking ball.
Blue Jays liking this. Again, they begin the night a game over 500, 12.5 back in their division, 7.5 back in the wild card. Again, the Yankees lead the wild card, but they're trailing Tampa Bay tonight. Zahn slaps one, just foul. Tensions were good there. It's not etched in stone that any of these teams are out yet or will win the wild card. Anybody there could do it, but the Blue Jays and Minnesota have to really go on a run. There's another base hit. Zahn aroused first and will stand up at second base, and it looked like he's going to limp into second base.
Yeah, Marty Peavy, the first base coach, is going to go out and talk to him. Did he step on the bag wrong, or he's just going to hand out that sliding pad?
Looked like he was kind of limping a little bit as he went around first, though. Let's take another look.
Fastball this time from Washburn, and it's ripped into the corner. Another double by the Blue Jays. Here he comes around the bag. You see him just a little wince right there.
Now John McDonald. Got the Blue Jays on the board in the second with the triple. Stand-up triple for McDonald. Zahn with a double. 18th of the season. They still are playing him very shallow.
Yeah, they're very shallow, but they aren't so much playing him to hit the ball the other way. Ichiro Suzuki is straight away in center field now. And the right fielder, you see him, Jose Guillen, is very shallow They've got very good arms.
Betancourt drops it. Boots it. E6. Runners at the corners.
Yeah. We said this team came in this ball game tied for the second fewest errors in the American League. And this is just a careless error by Yuniesky Betancourt. His 16th of the season, an easy ground ball. Squares up and then just takes his eye off of it. Usually that play is made easily by the shortstop. Let's take a look at Greg Zahn as he makes his way to third base. Sure doesn't look like he's running very smoothly.
So a little movement now in the Mariners bullpen. A couple players getting up now, but this is not what John McLaren wanted before this game. He needed Washburn to eat up some innings here, and this is a big inning for the Blue Jays. Now to the top of the order. They've already scored 3 times, a couple home runs, and Vernon Wells with 2 on and 2 away.
Error doesn't mean anything unless you can cash in. They have to cash in.
Again, Vernon's numbers with runners in scoring position and 2 outs, not good this year. His numbers while leading off, though, have been very good. Nowhere near the numbers in other parts of the order. 282 while leading off.
Really no explanation for that.
No.
You know,
only lead off really once sometimes.
Maybe when you see something from a different perspective instead of in an RBI situation, now you're at the top of the lineup and your job is to get on base, and maybe your mindset changes a little. Anything to try and kickstart him. He was out here earlier today hitting, and he looked pretty good to me.
Fly ball deep left field. Does it stay fair? No. Maybe, though, you know, you talked about it earlier about the shoulder, the fact that, you know, his power is down this year, and maybe not try to rip it in the situation, although that time he was trying to rip it.
Yeah, right in the wheelhouse with that slider. He knows he was out in front of it. Pitch he has had trouble with is that pitch away.
Down to first. To Toronto. Johnny Mack having a little chuckle here. Stung out to Jones, who makes the play, and once again 2 runners left on base, but 2 big swings. Troy Glaus goes deep, and Lyle Overbay over the fence. 3 runs score for the Blue Jays. 5-2 after 3. Power on in the bottom of the third inning with 3 runs, 2 big swats. Troy Gloss, Lyle Overbay, and now lead visiting Seattle 5-2 heading to the 4th inning. Some support now for Sean Marcum. Kenji Jojima, Adam Jones, Unieski Betancourt, bottom of the order here now for the Mariners, who opened scoring in the 1st inning. And it's been that kind of week for the Mariners. Lost 6 in a row. All the magic they once had a couple weeks ago, it's kind of evaporated, Tabby.
But every one of them talk about, you know, we've been in this position before where we have fallen behind and we've had some losing streaks, but we've been able to right the ship and get it turned around, and they put pressure on the Angels. It was just a week ago. They were 20 games over 500 and really knocking on the door and looking forward to that big series against the Angels in Seattle. They lost the last 2 games in Texas and then got swept by the Angels.
Aaron Hill, Blue Jays second baseman, with the play. Right on cue. And to remember this guy, speaking of second baseman. Boy, what a stint he had with the Blue Jays. Homer Bush back in the late 90s and turn of the millennium. Boy, he had some quick feet too. I still think he does. And he's with us tonight because it's Flashback Friday. And Homer, you still look like you could play.
Hey, thanks.
I like to call you a member of the alumni, which you are, but play in shape here.
Yeah. He hasn't gained any weight.
I was slim on that highlight right there, though.
What do you call that? You know? So what are you doing now?
You know, I'm in the final stages of becoming a financial advisor with Merrill Lynch, and just looking forward to helping people with their long-term finance.
Do you have a card? That's fantastic. So life after baseball.
It's been good. Married, 2 kids, and so I stay busy. T-ball, softball.
Is that a job where you have to go back to school to learn, or will Merrill Lynch teach you that?
I'm thinking my pamphlet on how to raise kids is coming in the mail soon.
Here's Adam Jones now, followed by Unieski Betancourt. Do you miss the game?
A lot. I really do. Like I said, I should be playing. Just some body parts just won't work with me.
I know how that is.
I think your story is remarkable, though, in many ways. From where you came from in a very tough neighborhood in St. Louis, East St. Louis, to get to the majors. You were part of that big trade here, the Roger Clemens trade. Ball was popped up here. To know where you came from and to know what you did in the game, you have a pretty impressive story to tell people.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And you know what? I don't mind telling that story. It's went through a lot, and man, I tell you, just persevering and hard work, staying out of trouble, just treating people right, it goes a long ways. And I think those are some of the key things that made me as successful as I was in the game.
Do you think the game of baseball had something to do with that? The fact that the game of baseball is such a game of failure and conquest?
That and it's time consuming, so you really don't have any time to get in trouble.
There you go.
Sure. But you're right. You have to really understand that you're going to fail in the game.
Stick in for another half inning. I want to ask you some more about second baseman and Aaron Hill and what it takes to become a big leaguer, if you don't mind.
Sounds good.
All right, 1, 2, 3 for the Blue Jays in that half inning. Inning, Rod Black, Pat Tabler, and Homer Bush. I always thought was one of the best names in baseball.
Sure.
You were born to be a ball player.
I was, because that's my name from birth, and worked out perfect, didn't it?
Homer.
Although I don't think you were really known for the
Hey.
Yeah, you had a few.
Yeah.
Bree Johnson now.
I hope none of the kids I'm training back in Texas are watching this, because I told them I hit home runs all the time.
Training? So do you do some training?
Sure, I do
kids,
some
or
lessons.
coaching, or
some lessons.
okay,
Sure.
with the glove.
With the glove.
You were good with the glove.
Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I want to talk about that a little bit. John McDonald has become one of the best. Jose Vidro, of course, known for what he can do. There have been so many great ones in the infield through the years. Robbie Alomar might have been the greatest second baseman, one of the best Blue Jays ever. But
Sure.
how did you get better at it? Did you have the natural instinct to be an infielder?
In the beginning, I didn't have the know-how. Then when I got into the majors, the coaches at this level, they teach you how to be major leaguers. When you're in the minors, you're just struggling to get through the minors. You get here and they actually teach you how to be a major league infielder. So,
was there a coach here or anybody along the way that really helped you out?
Oh man, I tell you what, Garth Orridge. You had, and then, just going back to other teams, Gary Templeton, Tim Flannery. Guys put in a lot of man hours with Homer Bush to make them better on defense.
Who did you grow up and admire? Who did you I think every young kid kind of models himself after another player. Who did you model yourself after?
Ozzie Smith. Oh, man, I tell you.
You didn't do backflips, though, did you?
No chance. Sure.
Well, you grew up in East St. Louis?
Yes, absolutely.
So you were pretty close to watching the Wizard?
The stadium, yes. I was 5 minutes.
You ever play against him?
No. Never did. But,
you must have met him when you were a young kid, though. Did you get a chance to get an autograph or talk to him? Or
no, not at all. But I had a chance in '98. We had a chance to share a couple minutes with one another. And of course, it was me, just wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. Hey, Mr. Smith, man, I grew up watching you.
Just what you wanted to hear.
Just what you wanted to hear.
Mr. Smith.
Alex Rios now. Look out and goodbye! Home run! It must be because you're in the house tonight. Homer night.
Well, I don't think you could have put it on a tee for Alex Rios better than what Jared Washburn did. Fastball down and in, and watch how he just drops the head of the bat. And it's see you later. Another line drive home run, this one at the second deck in left field. Right in the wheelhouse of Alex Rios.
John McLaren, true to form. The bullpen is not moving out there.
Right.
He's staying with Washburn right now. 6-2. Frank Thomas now trying to join the Homer Derby here tonight.
So, Homer, I have to ask you this. Jesse Barfield was here a couple of weeks ago, and he said he played at the Yankees old-timers game, and you were there. Is that true, or was he just pulling my leg?
That's true. That's true. I was there.
How did that feel? He was at the old-timers game for the Yankees.
Old-timer are you?
Old-timer? Come on.
Old-timer what?
I tell you, I had a great time. And it's funny you talk about Jesse Barfield, because that's the first time I had some real serious interaction with Jesse. A great guy.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
oh, yeah.
I tell you. When they did the introduction, he actually gave me a hug. Yeah, man, I tell you. And
I would squish you.
You guys probably didn't talk hitting, did you?
No,
he can talk some hitting now.
Now the bullpen is up. For Seattle, has to be. Thomas is at first. Troy Glass is a double and a home run here tonight. And they're going to buy a little time here.
Rafael Chavez, the pitching coach for the third straight inning. And come out and talk to Jared Washburn.
What did you, I mean, again, you come from East St. Louis, you know, your boyhood dream, you get to play with the Yankees, for goodness sake, you get to come here. When you came to Canada, what was it like for you?
You know, I tell you, Rod, I was so hungry. You know, it was going to be my first opportunity to play every day. The environment didn't really bother me. It ended up being a great place to be. So everything just was like running like clockwork. Everything was smooth. Transition was so easy. It was unbelievable.
Here's Gloss now. Just one out. Your biggest thrill in baseball that you can always tell your kids and your grandkids. What would that be?
Well, of course you would think it would be the World Series, but you know, I wasn't really a big mover or shaker, but I was like always excited about running onto the field of home games, doing something, and when you go back to dugout, your teammates are giving you dap. You know, those are the kind of moments I really miss, and those are the things I really want to like share with my kids. Those kind of moments like that, you know, because I didn't really do a whole lot with the exception of stuff I was supposed to be doing.
Do you ever think about getting back into the game, trying to get back into it?
You know what? I did a couple years ago, but you know, with my kids now being in school, you know, I'd have to go through the whole minor league system again, and you know, they're at the age where they need to be in school,
right?
And I need to be there for them,
right?
So it's really not an option at this point. And I have a great career now, so I'm just looking forward to many years.
You could combine it, actually. You know, financial advisor, baseball world.
Yeah,
man, think about the percentage.
Sure.
You know?
Oh yeah, I will be around some spring training camps.
There you go. Yeah.
Not from a player standpoint.
2-2 now.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow, but hooking to the almost the upper deck. Troy Gloss is zoned in here tonight in a big way, and he knows Jared Washburn very well. Again, World Series MVP, guy who pitched with him with the Angels.
100 pitches now. We haven't even finished 4 innings.
Now a 3-2 pitch coming.
You know, you can really tell when a guy is locked in how he takes pitches. Troy Gloss, he has that shoulder tucked. He's got that bat back. You don't see him out in front on anything or being fooled. He is really picking the baseball up here tonight.
Walks him. You played with another guy who could really hit the ball who wore 25, Carlos Delgado, when he was here. It seemed like a guy who was would be a guy to welcome a lot of young players, probably like yourself when you came to Toronto.
Sure. You know, I was telling the story today. I think Delgado was probably like 28, and he was like almost like a father figure. So, just a great guy, smart. You know, just always seemed for some reason always did the right thing. And you know, he's definitely a guy you would want to have around a lot of young guys so that they can learn the game the right way.
Speaking of great guys, you're one of them. Homer Bush, thank you for joining us.
Wow,
hey, we'll see you down the road, all right?
Great to see you again.
Good luck with your
everybody. Really enjoyed it.
Financial career. Take a break, step aside as Jared Washburn's out of the ball game. The next one, September 14th, against the Baltimore Orioles. Rick Bassetti will sign autographs. He'll be here that night. 416-341-1234 for tickets or BlueJays.com. And a new pitcher now for the Seattle Mariners, who are getting hammered here. 6-2 in the 4th inning.
Ryan Rowan Smith takes over for Jared Washburn. Absolutely what John McLaren did not want out of Jared Washburn tonight. Just 3 1/3 innings, and the youngster Rowan Smith takes over, who is a lot like Jared Washburn, left-hander, doesn't throw very hard, moves the ball in and out. He has had some success this year for the Mariners in that very good bullpen, but the bullpen just got a little bit shorter here tonight with the outing by Washburn.
And gave up a lot of walks and a lot of long balls here tonight. Aaron Hill with 2 on and 1 away. Thomas and Gloss on base. His old buddy from the Angels. Pulling his string there is Roland Smith.
So you had a good time visiting with Homer. You like him?
I remember we were doing the games back then, and during that Rocket era, just after that, when Homer Bush came back over. The 0-2 pitch now. The Blue Jays, again, you know, a few struggling years, and there was a lot of some good pitching, some young pitching, but just never could put it together. Homer Bush, I'll tell you what, win, lose, or draw, he was always an up-front guy, just like you saw on it. He was a very solid second baseman. Solid citizen.
Yeah, very good guy, soft-spoken. Blue Jays have had some pretty good second basemen come through here. Boy, if you sit back and think about that, Damaso Garcia, some guy named Alomar, Orlando Hudson.
And he got Aaron Hill somewhere, sometime in the next couple of years, maybe even next season. That level of excellence they have here, there's no doubt that 23 is going up there. Robbie Alomar, number 12, will be up there.
Yep.
Pat Gillick there now. Cito Gaston, Dave Steve, George Bell. Number 15 should be up there.
Rios. Sean Green. Is that who you're talking about?
Pat Tabler.
Not.
But the Blue Jays add another big home run. 6-2 now.
Marcum's night is over. Just 3 1/3 innings, 6 earned runs, 5 walks, and no strikeouts. And we had talked about it at the beginning of the show that John McLaren really needed a starter to go deep into this ball game because of all the games that they have been playing. Makeup games with Cleveland, but the starter can only go 3 1/3, and they have turned it over to that very deep bullpen.
Here's Ichiro now, top of the order here, the top of the 5th. Base hit, fly out. Four-run Blue Jay lead. And there's another base hit for Ichiro. Vernon Wells tracks it down and holds him to a single. Now 5 hits away from another 200-hit season.
Well, you take a look at what he has done since coming from Japan. His average is #1 in the big leagues. Look at all the hits. I mean, he has over 1,500 hits already since coming over from Japan. Could you imagine if he had started here at maybe 20 or 21 years old? I think Pete Rose's hits record would be in jeopardy if he had started here at a young age. He is in fantastic shape. Not an ounce of fat on his body. And it looks like he can play every day for the next 10 years.
And in the next couple of years, he might be alone in the record books. Most consecutive seasons with 200+ hits. Only Wade Boggs and Willie Keeler in front of him. He will join Wade Boggs with 7 straight. Willie Keeler, who played at the turn of the last century, all-time leader with 8.
Didn't he play Willie Keeler when walks were considered hits?
He did. 2-1 now. Boston trailing Baltimore 4-2 in the 4th now. Tampa Bay on top of the Yankees 4-1 in the 5th. High fly ball. Alex Rios will watch it go. Home run. 2-run shot. And the balls are flying here tonight at Rogers Center.
5th home run tonight between these two teams. Blue Jays have 3 of them. Vidro now with the 2nd home run by the Mariners, and really no doubt about it. He really gets through that ball. The lower half, and then here comes the bat. Kind of like the home run that was hit by Gloss that landed in the 1st row there and bounced back into the bullpen.
Lead not so comfortable now. Jose Guillen, speaking of ex-Angels, and there you see Vidro with his 6th of the season. Guillen's next home run will be number 20 on the season.
Oh, that was a good pitch right there to hit. He is a very good low ball hitter. That was a slider that just kind of spun up there from Sean Marcum. Didn't have any break or anything, and he whiffed. Fouled it straight back.
Nobody out still.
He's got a very quick bat, and he's a very aggressive fastball hitter. Power to left center and right center. If you can get him to swing at balls out of the strike zone, you can get him. Lays off of that one.
Raul Lavanya is next, then Adrian Beltre. Struck him out. Second K of the night for Sean Marcum.
I think that's where he needs to be, aggressive with his fastball. Been throwing a lot of off-speed pitches here tonight and has not been able to find his release point and his control. But that time he paints that fastball in the outer half and he freezes Guillen for the strikeout. Let's see if he starts using that fastball a little bit more here.
Ibanez, the DH. Walk, fly out tonight. But good pop, too. Ahead of Ibanez here.
The last 3 weeks, Raul Lavanya has been raking. Since August the 7th, the batting average over 400. And he has hit 9 home runs in that span, which is #1 in baseball.
You got to find your spots here tonight. Mix and match here too, because been a lot of hits so far. We're only in the top half of the 5th inning.
That's the pitch that has hurt him tonight. Sean Marcum has not been able to get that ball over. A little change up right here in a good location. I think will get Ibanez. But you take away some of those bullets from a pitcher, and it's tough to kind of battle your way through here. Fastball. He was so good when he was getting all of his pitches over. Curveballs, sliders, his cutter, sinker, changeup. He'll throw a little bit of everything. But when you don't throw him over consistently for strikes, you have to battle and battle and battle.
Battle continues in this showdown here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Misses inside. Beltre on deck. Has already hit a home run here tonight. Ibanez to left field. Bree Johnson without #2. A reminder, Wendy's Friday Night Football later tonight from BC Place. A couple of second-place teams, the Montreal Alouettes, take on the Lions. 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on TSN. Beautiful night in Toronto. Adrian Beltre.
Good crowd here at the ballpark here.
Those just really good late summer nights.
Yeah. Good team in town.
I love Beltre's scowl that he has in the box.
Got the game face on.
Is he ever? Watch this.
Look at that.
Yeah. I'd be afraid to throw it to him. Beltre, a single and a home run here tonight. Couple RBIs for the Mariners. Trail by 2.
There's a good changeup right there. Pulled the string on Beltre, and he got good action on the ball.
wanted him to chase that one and could not. Again, a 3-2 count. Got him, struck him out. And he's really scowling now. But Sean Marcum gives up a 2-run shot to Jose Vidro. To the bottom of the 5th, it's 6-4 in downtown Toronto. Night of long ball here tonight. A night of homers and a night for Homer. Homer Bush had a nice ovation a few moments ago here. Greg Zahn leading off now for the Blue Jays in the bottom half of the 5th inning, followed by John McDonald, then Vernon Wells. Toronto leading 6-4. Trying to stay in this wild card thing. And you never know. You never know.
Blue Jays now have to put those hitting shoes back on and try and take it right through the Mariners.
Greg Zahn does it again. Got a hustle here, going for 2. He makes it there. Looks like he's laboring a little bit here tonight running, but that's the 2nd consecutive double for Greg Zahn here tonight.
And Jones had a shot at him. We've talked about their good arms. This time the throw just sails on him. As Zahn picks on another high pitch, rips it between the bag and belt tray. And with that short wall down there, it ricochets right to Jones. He has a shot at Zahn. But watch this one just sail, and Vidro then has no chance to apply the tag. Good start now. Johnny Mack can do anything here. He can drop a bunt down. He can drag. He can swing away. Mariners are playing him for a bunt. Corners are in. There's Beltre. Ben Broussard, the first baseman, also up in his position, thinking that McDonald might want to try and drag or push a bunt.
There's the bunt. There goes Zahn. The out at first. Got to play for the runs here tonight because no lead is safe.
I think you're absolutely right. And you say, well, you bunt, you're playing for 1 run. Well, you know what? You get 1 run, the other team's got to score 2 to beat you. The way the Blue Jays bullpen has been throwing this year, I'll take my chances. McDonald lays it down, and you say, well, why is he bunting the ball to the right side? Well, there's a left-handed pitcher on the mound. He falls over to the third base side. You usually want to bunt it to the left side over there to the third baseman. But with that lefty out there, he bunts it, deadens it to the right side, and Zahn can move up. And now Vernon's got to pick him up.
Comes hard inside. Ball 1 to Vernon Wells. 0-for night here tonight.
He has hit the ball hard in 2 of those. He walked into second, hit an absolute seed to left field his last time up, where Adam Jones didn't even have to move, and then lined out the shortstop.
(2-0). Bettencourt diving, throwing. Oh, what a play. Well, that makes up for the error earlier. What a play by Yuniesky Bettencourt.
The thing that is impressive about that shortstop is that hose. He's got a great arm. Saves a run temporarily here by stretching out, and then from his knee throws a strike over to Broussard to get Wells. Watch the arm strength. From a knee all the way in deep short.
That had base hit written all over it. Zahn still at third base. 2 away now for Bree Johnson. Fouled away. Yankees now trailing 5-1 to Tampa Bay, a team that gives the Yankees all kinds of trouble.
Tampa Bay might make life miserable for a lot of teams in September. Not enough talent to knock off some of those big boys.
Beltre spins and fires. Boys, nice D. Great leather shown there by the Mariners, saving a run. Marcum is done for the night. 5 innings pitched, 91 pitches, gave up 7 hits. Couple of long balls, Jose Vidro and Adrian Beltre. As you get into September here, the Blue Jays also thinking about saving some of these young arms.
He will give way to Brian Wolf, who has done an exceptional job this year. 28th game for Wolf, 3-1. Look out the strikeouts, 15 and just 6 base on balls, and he has been a hot pitcher of late. 2 earned runs allowed over his last 17 games, covering 23 innings for Brian Wolf. And he has kind of been the go-to guy in the middle innings for John Gibbons in the last couple of weeks. He'll come out, throw a fastball, which he will sink, a little bit of a slider, and he has been very good in the strike zone.
Van Broussard. 6-4. Blue Jays unable to cash Greg Zahn after that leadoff double. Might come back to haunt them in this game yet.
Wolf threw a cutter that right there on that first pitch to Ben Broussard. It looks like he just pounded it right off that front foot. You see that so many times with left-handed batters off of righties. When they throw that cutter in on their hands, and watch Broussard jumps on it and bam, right off of that front foot. Probably still a little numb right now. Go back in there.
Do it again.
Curveball that time.
Blue Jays catching a break with the Mariners this time, and no Richie Sexson. Talk about a guy who can launch.
Yeah, tweaked his hamstring a while back and then kind of hurt it again in last night's game with the Indians. A guy who can change a game with one swing. And there's big Richie Sexson available to pinch hit tonight, I'm sure.
John McDonald quickly gets his old teammate in Cleveland. Out number 1 here in the 6th. Success is all it's cracked up to be. Big Shots, starring Dylan McDermott and Michael Vartan this fall on CTV. There have been some big shots here tonight. 5 home runs hit so far. 3 by the Blue Jays, 2 by the Mariners. Kenji Jojima, base hit here earlier tonight. Wolf way up now on Jojima. Adam Jones on deck here in the 6th. Troy Gloss. Easy play over to first base.
That's the thing I like about Brian Wolf, is he comes in and he throws strikes. He can sink that ball, he can cut it, throw a little bit of a curveball. But the important thing is he comes out of that bullpen and he has been throwing strikes. Tough on right-handed batters this year. With that sinker and slider, righties hitting just 108 against Wolf. 7 for 65 right-handers have been against Brian Wolf this year.
Two away now. Big swing there. Mariners 14 games over 500, but have lost 6 in a row. Before the losing streak, which coincided with an Angels win streak, the Mariners were right near the top of the West Division. 5.5 games out now. Man who took over from Mike Hargrove, who walked away from the job. John McLaren.
Grover was at the game last night.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mariners in Cleveland, trying to get some mojo going for the Mariners. There's the AL West standings right there. Now 5.5 games behind the Angels. They meet one more time in Los Angeles towards the end of September, to the Mariners and the Angels, so they'll have another shot at them.
Towering fly ball. Vernon Wells watches it. 1-2-3 for Brian Wolf and the Blue Jays. Bottom of the 6th upcoming. Alex Rios to lead off as Marcum hopes for a win. Inning, Alex Rios to lead off. And speaking of Thomas, Sunday, Jays Mariners, third game of the series, 1:07 first pitch. First 5,000 kids 14 and under get the Frank Thomas Kids Pillow. That's this Sunday against the Mariners. The Big Hurt Kids Pillow. Now Rios homered in his last at bat. Off of lefty starter Jarrett Washburn. To right center field. Back to the track and caught by Jose Guillen. Almost.
Yeah, it shows you he's got power the opposite way. So if you start throwing that ball away to Alex Rios, the more experience he can get, he's going to start hitting that ball that way and out. They want that fastball up and away, and he goes with it. He does not try and pull it, and gets it right to that 375 sign in right center field.
Big Hurt. Pillows on Sunday.
Let's see you pillow one out of here.
Wow. Straight up in the air. Boy, it sure traveled a long way again. To Ichiro, just kind of a one-handed swing that time for Frank Thomas.
Yeah, you see him kind of shaking his head right there. That was a hanging breaking ball that got his timing off just so slightly. Look at that, just out on that front foot. And you're right, almost a one-handed swing. And just misses it.
Again, Frank Thomas got hot for the Blue Jays, but a team that just couldn't make a run after the All-Star break. All the great pitching that was going on. Thomas was hitting the ball well. Now Troy Gloss, double and a home run and a walk here tonight. The offense could not follow suit. with the pitching, especially situationally.
That was the big thing. You know, hitting with runners in scoring position since the All-Star break. It has been so down on the bottom rung there in the American League that if some of the guys just had their normal season since the All-Star break, I think they would have won a lot more games.
Very well could be leading the wild card. Pitch misses, and another walk drawn by Troy Gloss, bringing up Aaron Hill. Red Sox have battled back against the Orioles. It's 4-3 now in the 6th inning. White Sox on top of Cleveland 5-2. 6-1 now Tampa over New York. Hill, first pitch swinging, and another fly ball. Look at Ichiro track this again. 3 fly ball outs and the walk. We head to the 7th 2-run ball game. In the ball game so far, 15 hits. Blue Jays lead 6-4 as we head to the 7th inning. Yuniesky Betancourt to lead off for the Mariners. Then the top of the order, the ever dangerous Ichiro looms on deck. Betancourt, an error earlier tonight, but also one of the most spectacular plays of the game. Diving snag. Brian Wolf continues to carve a nice story as a big leaguer.
Yeah, when the Blue Jays were looking for a trading partner, when they wanted to trade Corey Koski, that ball is hit down the left field line. Betancourt's going to get extra bases out of this. They found a taker in the Milwaukee Brewers who would take on some of the salary of Corey Koski. And Sal Butera, who's a special assistant to J.P. Ricciardi, the general manager, saw Brian Wolf in minor leagues with Milwaukee and recommended him to J.P. Ricciardi. They made the trade, Koski to Milwaukee, with cash for Brian Wolf, and he has turned into a useful player who has helped this bullpen this year. Scott Downs is now up, the left-hander, no doubt for Ichiro, or excuse me, as Ichiro hits for Ibanez, the left-hander.
pretty good feeling that Ichiro is going to reach that 200 plateau this weekend sometime.
He's always hit so well here, Rogers Center, against the Blue Jays.
Again, so dangerous in this situation late in the ball game. Base hit scores a run here. Casey Jansen also up with Scott Downs.
And right now, Ichiro is not thinking about advancing that runner. He's trying to get on base. You can just tell by the way he is approaching this at bat. He's not thinking about trying to pull the ball and getting Betancourt over. He's trying to get on. And if Wolf pitches him away, he's going to slash that ball to left field. How'd he hit that ball? That was right off the shoe tops.
Cricket.
That's right. It looked like Wolf almost bounced that ball up there. Curveball. And he is able to get the bat on the ball. Look at Greg Zaun, the catcher, diving out to try and stop that ball. Such great bat control.
The other way. May have the best hand-eye coordination in the game.
I agree. His ability to do what he does. I mean, he almost takes that ball right out of the catcher's glove and keeps that bats alive. Again, a lot like Wade Boggs. Boggs was able to hit the ball with authority to all fields. His specialty was getting on base, just like Ichiro.
But he goes down this time on strikes.
Doesn't happen very often with Suzuki at the plate. He was guessing wrong. He was looking for something inside, and Wolf painted him with a fastball. Just the 60th strikeout this year for Ichiro Suzuki.
2 for 4 night for Ichiro again. Moving closer to the 200 hit plateau tonight, but needed a hit there. Now Jose Vidro homered in his last at bat, 2-run shot. Ball and 2 strikes now. Seattle leads the season series so far with Toronto, 4 wins to 2. Down he goes. Wolfman coming up big here.
Own that neck just a little bit after the leadoff double. This time curveball, and Vidro swings right over the top of it. 2 pretty tough outs in Suzuki and Vidro. Wolf retires him, but he still has to go through Guillen.
0 for 3 for Jose Guillen tonight. Troy Glass to first base. Well done for Brian Wolf. Stretch time at Rogers Center. In relief of Sean Marcum, looking for the win here tonight, which would be number 12, the game story tonight.
Well, it's been Powerball for the Blue Jays again, just like their last game a couple of days ago in Oakland when they hit 4 solo home runs. They have 3 solo home runs here tonight, or the game would be a lot. Well, the lead would be a lot more if they had a couple guys on base. Sean Marcum, 91 pitches through 5 innings. He is in line for win number 12 if the bullpen can hold it right here.
Lyle Overbay had one of the home runs that came back in the 3rd inning against Seattle. Open scoring in the 1st. Vidro, sure-handed. He's done that for many, many years. Greg Zahn now, who looked like he might have been grimacing a little bit earlier when he cracked himself a double back in the 3rd inning, but then followed it up with another double in the 5th inning. Double-double night for Zahn. Again, the Mariners in danger of making it 7 losses in a row and sliding even further out of the race here. Although the good news for them, the Yankees still trailing 6-1 Tampa Bay. So Blue Jays, if they can hang on, the Yankees lose, would be 6.5 out in the wild card. Hopped up, Broussard calls for it. Well, the Super Series continues. The junior players, Canada, Russia. Cherepanov now out for the series. Game 4, bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific. Now John McDonald. Got the Blue Jays on the board. Tabby with a triple. Stand-up triple back in the 2nd inning.
Smoked a slider from Washburn. Really crossed up the defense. They were playing him shallow and shading him towards right field. He crossed him up by pulling that slider to that auxiliary scoreboard in left center field, clearing the bases and driving in a couple of runs.
Hopped up again along the rail. Broussard can't make the play. Broussard and Johnny Mack were teammates in Cleveland.
If he could have gone aggressively for that ball and got to the wall as fast as he could, it looked like he started slowing down about 4, 5, 6 steps away from that wall. If he runs right to the wall, I think he makes that catch.
By the way, that Super Series, Canada won today 6-2, so they're looking for a sweep in Russia tomorrow. And Alexei Cherepanov, the Russian star, suffered a concussion today. He's out the rest of the series. Moves back to Canada, of course. McDonald again. Ichiro on his horse. Has he done it again? Yes. Johnny Mack goes for 2. And once again burns the shallow configuration of the Mariners.
First time up, he said, hey, I can hit that ball over your head. You better back up. And Seattle wasn't listening. Fastball up. He throws his hands at the ball. And Ichiro, you're right, was very shallow again. He hits it over his head for another extra base hit. Somebody's going to have to get some scouting reports out and change it. He has smoked a couple of balls over Ichiro's head here tonight.
Another pitching change. John McLaren on the mound, ready to give the ball to another reliever. Blue Jays trying to look for some more insurance here in the bottom of the 7th. At the dish. 6'4" Blue Jays, new pitcher again for Seattle.
That's big Sean Green, 6'6", 230. He has been up and down a couple of times this year, but recall back on May the 23rd for the last time, and has pitched pretty well in 51 innings since his recall. His ERA is just a shade over 3. You see he's kind of a little unorthodox delivery. Not really 3/4, not really sidearm, but he gets great sinking action on his fastball. He's tough on righties because of it.
Pounded. Beltre, bare hand, safe.
Adrian Beltre is kind of caught in no man's land. This ball is just chopped up the baseline. And you can see from there his foot was on the bag, so it was a fair ball all the way. You know, you kind of got to make that decision. Do I let it go or do I go ahead and field it? And he knows that it's really a do or die. I have to grab it and try and throw out well quickly. Can't let that ball go or it's running down the line.
Vernon Wells with his first base hit of the evening. Bree Johnson again with 2 outs. John McDonald at third now. Middle part of the order is coming up in the 8th inning, top of the 8th for the Mariners. So the Blue Jays dearly love some more runs here. 2 might not be enough.
You see the type of action that Sean Green gets on his pitches. Just buries that fastball into right-handers.
Just missing the other way. 34,518 here tonight.
Kind of a slinger, Sean Green. That ball, if you're standing at home plate, looks like it's coming out of his shoulder. Tough to pick the ball up there.
Oh. Jojima had to be quick there.
Tough to do as a hitter when you've got a guy like that who could throw that fastball, move it inside, and then come back with a slider. As a hitter, you just want to try to eliminate pitches. All right, am I going to sit on this pitch, the slider, or that fastball? There's another slider. And then I'm going to just sit on it until I get 2 strikes. If I'm guessing now, he has thrown a couple of sliders and they haven't even been close. I'm looking for that hard sinker, so I'm backing off the plate a little bit, and I'm going to try and sting one by Beltre.
Alex Rios on deck. Johnson can keep the inning going. Already a home run here tonight. Struck him out. Nice job by Sean Green. Blue Jays leave 2 on. We head to the 8th at Rogers Center. Tweets at Rogers Center, ideal venue for corporate entertaining. Call 416-341-1635 or visit rogerscenter.com and book your luxury suite. Nice way to watch the ball game, and an interesting one here tonight. Good ball game.
A couple of lefties coming up this inning for the Seattle Mariners, and in comes Scott Down for the 68th time this year. That now ties him for second in the American League with Luis Vizcaino of the New York Yankees. He is also fifth in the AL in holds. What a good job Scott Downs has done this year in this situation. Lefties in the 8th inning.
Raul Lavanya, Adrian Beltre, Ben Broussard. All three certainly capable of going deep. Banez 0 for 2 with a walk. Orioles are stomping all over Boston right now. 9-3. Yankees 6-1. They trail against Tampa Bay. That's good news for both of these teams.
Yankees have 2 hits tonight.
And walking Ibanez.
You know, I think if he gets Ibanez, he stays in the game to face Beltre.
But he won't. John Gibbons comes in.
That's right. The tying run now comes to the plate, and a guy who can launch the ball out of the ballpark. But again, if he gets him, I think he stays in the game because Broussard is after Beltre. But because he lost him on 4 pitches, Casey Jansen's going to come in to face Beltre.
We'll step aside and come back to Rogers Center right after this. Long out of the bullpen. Gives up a walk, and the tying run comes to the plate. And Adrian Beltre here in the 8th. Work to do for Casey Jansen.
Fastball, a little slider, a little curveball from Jansen. He is first among Toronto relievers in holds this year with 22. The thing about the bullpen, they've been so good this year. Their walks per 9 innings, #1 in the American League. Blue Jay bullpen. Their strikeouts to walk ratio is ranked 2nd. So the bullpen has been very good this year for the Jays. Their ERA is second in the American League. They've allowed the fewest home runs. But you're right, they have their work cut out for them here after the leadoff walk.
Now a ball and 2 strikes. Beltre went deep earlier in the ball game. Guys in the pen watching. Hit hard, but he got under it. Bree Johnson has it. 1 away here in the 8th.
You know, we have been talking all night long about how the pitching has really carried this club. Let's take a look at last year as opposed to this year through 133 games from the pitching side. The wins and losses are very close, but the ERA 3.94. There's the bullpen ERA, which is number 2 in the American League.
Now Ben Broussard. Very similar to last year, though, is what happened in and around the All-Star break and afterwards leading up to this time. In fact, the Blue Jays just could not make any hay. Could not get on any kind of roll. Serious win streak. That's why they are only a game over 500. Two-0 pitch now. Bree Johnson right there for out number 2. That was hit hard by Broussard, but Johnson only had to backpedal.
Yeah, the outfielder's playing no doubles right now, so that's an easy can of corn for Bree Johnson. Take a couple of steps. You don't want any ball over your head. You can see how deep they are playing. Maybe earlier in the ball game he doesn't get to that. But with the tying run at the plate, that's an easy play for the left fielder.
Now catcher Kenji Jojima. The other way, also capable of going yard, as they say here. 14 home runs this year. Due up for the Blue Jays in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Alex Rios, Frank Thomas, and Troy Glaus. Maybe a little more support, a little more insurance, if they can get Jojima here. He is not a light hitting catcher by any stretch.
290 average. His next home run will give the Mariners 5 players with at least 15 home runs on their roster. And he's an experienced hitter. With 2 strikes, he'll give in and go the other way. Shorten his swing up a little bit. Try and use the whole field. Early in the count, he's looking to hook. Aggressive approach. Open up, tries to pull those inner half fastballs. But with 2 strikes, he'll spread out a little bit more. Slow the swing down. Go the other way with 2 strikes.
Not get him to chase. Ibanez get a head start here. 3-2 pitch coming to Jojima. Liner. Johnson tracking, has to jump, can't get to it. Ibanez will score. And a double by Kenji Jojima has made it a 1-run ball game.
And just like we were just talking, no balls over your head. And that's the toughest play for an outfielder, that line drive right at you. Curveball, Jojima kind of one-hands it. And you see Bree Johnson take a step or two in, and that hurt him as that ball just gets over his glove for 2 bases and another run for the Mariners.
Looked like he didn't really get a good jump on it right away. Could not track the ball. Moved in and then came back. And so Jose Lopez comes in to pinch run now. Tying runs at second. Adam Jones at the plate. Bree Johnson's got a lot of action here in this half inning. A couple of fly balls caught and one that he could not get to. John McDonald. Long throw. Got him. But it's now a 1-run game thanks to Kenji Jojima. To the bottom of the 8th. 6-5 Toronto. Pitcher J.J. Putz.
Yeah, one of the best closers in all of baseball. 37 for 39 in saves this year. That is second in the American League. ERA of 1.35. Look at that strikeout to walk ratio. Over 5-1. 66 strikeouts in 60 innings. Just 12 base on balls. He's one of the best and has not worked in about a week. So they needed to get him into a ball game. They wanted to hand it over to him with the lead in the 9th inning. But he comes in here in the 8th inning to get some work, hold it right there and see if they can win it next inning.
Alex Rios leads off with a base hit. Second pitch from Putz.
It doesn't matter if he's at home or if he is on the road. His number is sensational. He gets even tougher when he's on the road. Look at the earned run average, opponent's batting average, tons of strikeouts. He does it with a fastball and a very, very good split finger. How about the team's 1-loss record when he's in?
Wow. Frank Thomas now. Blue Jays trailed 1-0. Then went ahead, had a 6-2 lead at one point, then narrowed to 6-5. Down to second is Rios. 14th stolen base.
And a very opportune stolen base also. High leg kick by J.J. Putt.
And you see Jamie Burke, who just came into the ball game. He has only caught 2 of 22 runners this year trying to steal, and it's no contest as Rios slides in safely with the stolen base. Doesn't have too many guys on base when Putz is out there, so he doesn't have to use that slide step.
Just missing. 2 balls and a strike now to Frank Thomas. Troy Glaus on deck. Rios at second with no one out. Blue Jays have left 11 men on base tonight.
They have had runners on all night long. They haven't been able to cash them. 3 solo home runs.
Trying to nibble again. And this is a hitter's count right here for the Big Hurt.
And you love it. Power versus power. You know, a guy like J.J. Putz, who's got a very good fastball, will challenge Frank Thomas.
Thomas delivers. Rios will round third and score.
He certainly didn't give in to Frank Thomas. He did challenge him with a fastball. Big Hurt takes what he gives up and picks up a very big run. RBI single for Frank Thomas, RBI number 80 on the season. Inside out, and he muscles that ball in front of Ichiro to score Rios. And a little more breathing room for the Blue Jays.
Still nobody out. Thomas now lifted for pinch runner Russ Adams. Troy Glaus, double and a home run. Couple RBIs tonight. 2 for 2 night with 2 walks. That was an important run right there. Set it up for the Blue Jay closer to come in. Seal the deal. Tomorrow, Miguel Batista against Dustin McGowan, and then on Sunday, Jeff Weaver against A.J. Burnett. Blue Jays trying to make life even more miserable for this sinking Mariners ship.
They have gone through a rough stretch, not only the 6 losses in a row, we talked about it earlier. 44 games in 45 days to finish the season, crisscrossing all over the country and countries. An 11-game road trip here. They flew from Seattle to Cleveland to play 1 game last night, and they lost in a heartbreaker, a walk-off bases loaded walk, as you see Accardo warming up. Then they fly here to Toronto to face the Blue Jays in 3 games.
Hitters count again, 3-1. Line shot. Russ Adams has to scurry back. Now 1 out.
And to finish up that thought, it doesn't get any easier for Seattle. When they leave here, they go to New York to play the Yankees and then Detroit for 3 games.
Aaron Hill now checks Russ Adams. Again, rosters will be expanded tomorrow, so there will be some new Jays back in town tomorrow. There goes Russ Adams. A little hit and run and fouled away.
You know, the problem that John McLaren has had trying to work in J.J. Putz, again, he hasn't worked in about a week, is he was talking the other day that, you know, I can't keep him in there to keep him fresh when we're losing these ball games. You know, I want to save him in case I need him. I don't know if he's going to go much further if he gets one more guy on. They have some pitchers warming up. They almost look like a balk. They have some pitchers warming up that I think if another guy gets on, they take him out. They're going to need him to win ball games, save ball games, especially on the road.
And they are desperate right now for a W. 7-5 Blue Jays, though. Popped up again to Ichiro for out number 2. The Yankees are getting it handed to them in the Bronx tonight. 8-1, still only 2 hits for the Yankees. Tampa Bay, so the way it's looking, shaping up, Blue Jays could be 6.5 back, and the Mariners team that's reeling right now, they might be able to make a little more ground up by the end of the weekend if they play their cards right.
I think if you're the Blue Jays, you got to start thinking sweeps.
Oh yeah,
you know,
oh yeah.
It's not time for 2 out of 3. You got to start thinking sweeps, especially when you are playing the guys who are ahead of you.
Lyle Overbay. Yuniesky Betancourt will lead off in the 9th. Followed by Ichiro and then Jose Vidro. Josh Towers is warming up. Jeremy Accardo was warming. Depends on what kind of insurance he has heading to the 9th inning. Ball gets away from Burke. Russ Adams is in scoring position.
Splitter in the dirt. Burke can't keep it in his glove. And ruled a wild pitch. And another important run out there. Lyle Overbay seems to be swinging the bat with a little bit more authority the last week or so.
Once again, another Blue Jay hitter in a 3-1 count. Overbay, the home run earlier tonight, his 10th. Back-to-back games now homering. He's found his power stroke. For a while. Now the 3-2 pitch. And he got him. We head to the 9th inning. 7-5 Blue Jays. Here comes their closer. Go with the TSN turning point to date.
And it was a big run, and it was manufactured by Alex Rios. First of all, with the stolen base against J.J. Putz. And Frank Thomas is going to cash in a very big run by taking this fastball the other way, dumping it in front of Ichiro Suzuki. A big run for Alex Rios as he scores, making this a 2-run ball game. And on comes Jeremy Accardo.
TSN Turning Point brought to you by OnStar. Get the OnStar treatment at onstar.ca. And Jeremy Accardo is in, looking for save number 26. Yuniesky Betancourt doubled in his last at bat, leads off here, and then Ichiro. So again, not over yet.
25 for 29 and saves for Jeremy Accardo. Picked up a save on the road, but he gave up a couple of runs. Last time he pitched 3 days ago. 2/3 of an inning, 3 hits, and a couple of earned runs against Oakland.
On the mark so far here, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
He has registered 8 consecutive saves, has Jeremy Accardo. And he has been using his fastball and splitter.
Alex Rios giving chase, but couldn't get there in time. Alex Rios, again, for a ball club that doesn't steal a lot of bases. I guess you might call it opportunistic base stealing at the right time. Might have been, well, again, so far, one of the biggest plays in this game.
Yeah, you could see the whole thing. As soon as he got a single and he was standing over there at first base, the first pitch, the high leg kick by Putz. I mean, it was just the opportune time, as you say, to get yourself into scoring position and get out of that double play.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Betancourt. Ichiro after that, then Jose Vidro. Tried to find the corner of the plate, could not.
Trying to bring that fastball back over the outside part of the plate. Good movement. 95 miles an hour for Ricardo. That's it. Just challenge him now. Make him hit his way on.
Popped up. Troy Gloss calling for it. So there's out number one.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game will not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership.
Now Ichiro Suzuki. 2 for 4 night for him. Try to get on and bring the tying run to the plate.
Job just gets a lot easier when you can get that first guy in the inning.
And when you're challenging batters and get that first strike too.
Well, what makes Ichiro Suzuki so tough is even if he's fooled on pitches, he has the ability to either top balls or hit balls in the hole. He has had 48 infield hits this year, which is #1.
Again, Jose Vidro, who's on deck, already hit a 2-run home run tonight. Ichiro does what he does best. He's on, and the tying run will come to the plate. 3-hit night for Ichiro Suzuki.
Batting average just keeps going up. He and Maglio Ordonez is at the top. And Ricardo has to challenge him. 2-1. Bangs it right back through the middle. I think it's a good idea for Lyle Overbay, the first baseman, to play behind Suzuki, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Remember Vidro's second time up when he hit that rocket down the line. Overbay saved a couple of runs. Remember that back in the second inning to end inning number 2. So he's going to play behind Suzuki. His run doesn't mean anything. It's the guy at the plate that they're worried about.
Ball and a strike now. Sean Marcum watching anxiously, I'm sure. Looking for win number 12. Ricardo trying to get save number 26. Vidro's a tough out. Guy was an all-star.
He has that ability to kind of slash the ball and hit it all over the place. Very good 2-strike hitter. Good time for a splitty right here.
Aaron Hill by him. Hold on, everybody. 2 on, 1 out, and Jose Guillen coming to the plate.
From up here, it looked like Aaron Hill was thinking about trying to get the lead runner. In that situation, you just want to get the out over at first base. That run doesn't mean anything. You see, kind of started bringing the glove up like he was going to try and make the play to second. Kind of turn, watch his glove. comes up just a little bit. That time you just run right through the ball. Run right through the ball, make the catch, and get the out over there at first base.
Those are plays that Aaron Hill makes.
We've seen him do it all season long.
Ichiro's now at second. Willie Bloomquist now, the pinch runner, is at first. And just one out.
You know that Guillen and Lavanya has won a little redemption in that big series against the Angels at the beginning of this week. The 3 and 4 hitters for Seattle, Guillen and Lavanya, went 5 for 23. No home runs and just 2 runs driven in. So you know they are looking for some redemption here in the ninth.
Two balls and a strike now. Is going to have to challenge again. Great base runner at second base too. Ichiro golfed foul. Just joining us, a game that the Mariners opened up in the first inning. Blue Jays had complete control of in the middle innings. Mariners have clawed their way back, down 2. 1 out in the 9th. And look out here, he hit him. And now the bases are full, and the tying run is at second base. Cleanup hitter Raul Lavanya is the hitter.
It looked like he was going to try and put him away with a split finger, and it got away from him, and it hit him right in the stomach. You know, that's not what he was trying to do in that situation. 15th time this year that Jose Guillen has been hit. Good idea to come out here and just kind of settle down Jeremy Accardo.
It is a nervous 9th for sure now for Accardo and the Blue Jays. Josh Towers is up. Accardo got the first batter. But now bases are full for Raul Lavanya, the cleanup hitter, the DH for the Mariners. Aaron Hill, what a play! McDonald! Oh, the ball game is over!
That was sensational. First by Aaron Hill to get to it. He flips to McDonald. Watch, here comes Guillen. He's going to get him. But then on the back end, Lyle Overbay to dig it. And this one is over.
Wow, what a sigh of relief for the Blue Jays. And the Mariners keep spinning their wheels. Bases full here in the 9th, but Toronto wins 7-5. 2 games over 500. The Yankees losing tonight, it looks like. So the Blue Jays will be 6.5 games back in the wild card. The Mariners have now lost 7 straight games. Sports Center's coming up, and then CFL football for Pat Tabler. This is Rod Black. The Blue Jays win tonight thanks to long ball, small ball, some pitching, and some D. Good night from Rogers Center.